You want to know the three things that Mike Tyson, LeBron James, and Bernard Hopkins have in common that I've used to make millions and millions of dollars. And if you use them, you'll be successful in whatever it is you're looking to achieve. If you'd like to know what those three things are, I'm going to tell you and show you what those things are.
So now the moment of truth is not far off. This will be the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. He could go into the record books tonight if he can capture the title from the reigning champ, Trevor Berbick. This is what Mike Tyson has trained his whole life for. This is what Customato and Jimmy Jacobs trained this man for.
I believe he will be the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. And if he remains dedicated, interested, and without any distractions, I believe that eventually he'll go down in history as the greatest heavyweight champion ever.
He goes down. He should be able to get up from this. His legs may be shut. They are. As Trevor Berbick falls back into the ropes.
Mike is a boy prodigy. He's 20 years old. He is quite an incredible force in the heavyweight division, but he's just a boy.
It's all over. We've got a brand new heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson.
In a devastating second-round knockdown, Mike Tyson, age 20, became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history.
Focus, discipline, and a burning desire. Why are those three things so important? How would those things, if you use them properly, because you may have heard it already, but if you don't know how to use it and you don't know their stories, then you might just be all over the place and you might have success in the beginning, but it's going to be very short-lived, right? And you don't want that. You want the success that we want to have, especially in business. The success we want to have is we want to have a long-term success. Right? We don't want to be fly-by-nighters, right? We don't want to, what we desire to have when it comes to business or anything you're doing in your career is you want to have something that when like you can depend on and count on that's going to take care of you and take care of your family for generations, right? And so let's talk about focus, because I'm not sure if you know their stories, but Mike Tyson, Bernard Hopkins, LeBron James, those three guys are guys that I'm talking about because their careers have been so amazing because of, now they all had talent, and don't get me wrong, but they all started off with their talent like being the least, like having, like they were all had negative chances of being able to be where they are today. Why? Because they all grew up in some pretty not so great situations. Out of the three, LeBron's the only one who never got arrested. Mike Tyson was arrested 38 times before the age of 13. Bernard Hopkins got arrested in his teens, went to prison for 13, 18 years, but only served 5 years of that sentence. Now, with those kinds of odds stacked against you, what are the chances that you're gonna be someone that's going down in history as the greatest athlete to do what it is you do, what they did? If they did, why? Because they had one of the things that they had a talent, they had a gift, and then they all had someone that came into their life, that the Lord brought into their life to show them how to use that gift instead of for evil, to use it for good. And so then they showed them not only how to use it for good, but they also showed them how to use it with those principles: focus, talent, and that burning desire. The reason why, like, you had Customato, manager of Floyd Patterson, the youngest heavyweight champion of the world before Mike Tyson. And he took Mike Tyson under his wing, treated him and loved him like a son. And he nurtured Mike so that Mike would know that there's another way, and he can have all the things that he couldn't even think about desiring. He had no clue that some of this stuff existed, but he knew that there was something more, which is why he did all the things he did when he was so young. He had like his idea was the only way he could survive, the only way he could make money is doing some of the criminal things that he was doing as a child, not even 13 years old, doing all these things. So his desire, he had a desire, but it was also not channeled in the right way. Bernard Hopkins, same thing. And then with LeBron, like LeBron was raised by a single mom, and they had it rough in the projects, right? They had it rough, and the same thing. His high school coach came and helped him to one thing that they all had again, and how to not just nurture it, but how to be focused, right? Stay out of trouble. Hang out with the people that can help you, that are going to help you see how to really use that talent to focus, become the best, so that you can win at the game that with the talent that God's blessed you. That's what happened with all of them. So they were able to take that, their gift, focus it, use that desire that they had, and then focus, and then they just had to be disciplined. And from a discipline perspective, what is that? It's the same thing. It's recognizing the people. Like when you think about the disciplines, they had to make their bodies do different things than they were used to, right? They had to start eating well and sleeping and not drinking and not doing drugs, right? Where everyone else around them coming up, before they knew, those are the things that people said were cool and was all right, was good. And even with focus and talent and a desire, if they would have had focus, talent, and a desire, and they were still not doing great things, guess what? Because of their God-gifted abilities, they probably still would have had success. I don't know if they would have had the same kind of initial success that they had, but they would have had success. But I know one thing, like 99% sure, that they wouldn't have had the careers that they have today. They wouldn't have had longevity, right? And in fact, Mike is a great example. So different from Bernard Hopkins and LeBron James. Mike had great success in the beginning, like a shooting star, like LeBron, shooting star. But unlike LeBron, Mike lost focus. He lost focus, he lost discipline. And although he became that youngest heavyweight champion of the world because he had talent, focus, discipline, and a desire, like a burning desire, he was just fueled with rage. He still had it all in him from just growing up in that, with the life that he lived. And then he had lost his father figure, Cuss, like before he became champion. So he was just fueled with that as well. And he just was demolishing people. Then when he started getting paid tens and tens of millions of dollars, he lost focus. That drive and that desire went to things that were outside of where his talent was. It went to things like impressing people. It went to things like girls and getting all the things that were just distractions in his life. Distractions from his craft, distractions from his gift. And what I said was, these same things I've used to make millions of dollars. Like I know Mike Tyson. In fact, I used to be a boxer, and that's the reason why I'm using these analogies. I used to be a boxer. I fought in the '84 Olympic trials. Mike and I traveled together in the Olympic training centers. And I fought with guys in his gym. I sparred in the gyms of some of those trainers that you saw in his corners. So like, I understand that journey, and what it really takes in order to be successful in that journey, and what your body and mind takes. But I look at it from a business perspective today, because like after I left high school, I stopped fighting, went into martial arts, but I stopped fighting. I had no desire to become ever turn pro. I knew in my brain that I wanted to be successful, and I wanted to be able to use my brain, my head, but I didn't want to use it in the way that he was using it, where I was getting punched in it. Right. But the one thing that I knew was, and I believed that if I was focused, same focus and disciplines that I had when it came to boxing, if I took those same focus and disciplines along with the talent and my desire to not live a life that was so much greater than what I had growing up in poverty, same thing, just not good. If I did that, then I really believe that I'd have success. In fact, one of the books that I read that made me believe that, I read this book my first year of college. It was called Think and Grow Rich. I think it was my first year of college, second year of college. But I read the book. And when I read that book, it just turned on a whole different channel for me. It made me believe that there's nothing that I can't achieve. There's nothing that I can't achieve if I not only believed, but if I was focused, disciplined, and I had this burning desire for a life that everyone else said was impossible. I had that burning desire and never lost it. And so Napoleon Hill, that's one of the things he teaches in that book. And then over years of just applying myself, if you do the same thing, like if you have a gift, what is your gift? If you have a gift, what is that thing? Because you all have a gift. If you know what your gift is, what is that thing that you really enjoy? Do you have a passion for something? And then do you have a burning desire? Like, what's the life that you desire for you and your family? How do you want to make your mark on the world and on society? What is it? And if you have a gift and a desire, and you're able to now be disciplined and focused to doing the things that are necessary. So when we talk about the focus and are you willing to exercise? Are you willing to eat right? Are you willing to read? Are you willing to sleep? Are you willing to not do drugs and alcohol? Like I'm just telling you, are you willing to do those things? Are you willing to do those things to accomplish that vision, that to achieve that thing that your heart truly, truly desires? Like, do you have that kind of desire where you will not let nothing get in your way? Nothing bad get in your way. And you might not think those things are bad. Listen, I'm just gonna tell you, like I've done both. I've drank. Back when I was growing up, while I was in high school, my first couple years of high school, I drank. I did marijuana for a couple of those years, and I realized that this was not going to get me out of this ghetto. It's not, and that's why today I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, because I know that if there's something that you're looking to achieve that's far greater than anyone else in your family, far greater than anyone else that are in your circles, if you're not in the circles of people who are doing 10 times greater than you, if you're looking to achieve something that's far greater, anything that people around you are telling you is possible, then you gotta do the thing that most people aren't willing to do. I gotta make sure that my body has the greatest chance to succeed, that my mind has the greatest chance to succeed and be sharp and strong, right? And so again, are you willing to do those things? Are you willing to get sleep at night, to rest your body? Are you willing to drink water? Like it's something as simple as that. Like just drinking water every day. Again, living optimally. That's what LeBron does. And that's what Bernard Hopkins does. And Mike made some catastrophic decisions in his career. Some catastrophic decisions that set him back to less than zero again, at least from a career perspective. I guess you could say that. I mean, once he went to prison, right? At the peak of his career, he went to prison for 3, 4, 5 years. When he came out, first fight out, he won the championship again. So he still had the desire while he was in there. He was focused, he was disciplined, but he still, like, he had lost 5 years of his prime. And then he got off focus again after some time. So his career didn't last. Where Bernard Hopkins' career, he became the oldest heavyweight champion in the world, in history. 48 years old. He won 6 championships. After losing his first fight out of prison, he won 6 championships. He beat Trinidad, he beat De La Hoya, he beat Antonio Tarver, he beat, there were a few other guys that he beat that were champions. And he beat them all when they were in their prime. And everybody was saying he was on the down. He was on the down slope of his career. He beat them well out of his prime when he was in his upper 30s, because he didn't get to fight those guys until he had already built such a name after winning the championship and defending the championships 20, 30 times. And then finally they're like, okay, he got these other big fights and started making some real money. But when he should have been making tens of millions of dollars, he was only making 500,000. Why? Because people didn't see him as flashy. He wasn't doing all these flashy things. I wasn't even a big fan myself. And I was a boxing fan. I loved boxing. But then what happened, because like if you talk to everybody that surround themselves with Bernard over the years, they say he was so disciplined. He was so disciplined. You talk about what LeBron's doing today, he's in his, what is he, almost 40 years old? And like I haven't watched any basketball yet this season, but my son was just telling me how he scored like 30 some odd points, a bunch of assists and rebounds. He did stuff on in that game, his last game, the last few games, that guys that are half his age with amazing talent aren't even close to being able to do. He's still leading the team at the highest level. And he's playing, my son was telling me how he's playing with limited minutes. Like they're limiting LeBron's minutes because of his age. They're limiting his minutes, and he's still like breaking records and leading the team. Not only leading the team, leading the league. Why? Because of those same things. He's still focused, he's still disciplined, and he has a burning desire. There's still something he's looking to achieve. He ain't just in a league just for the sake of being in a league, because he don't need any more money. He doesn't need any money. He has a desire for some things, and he wants to serve at the highest level. What do you desire? Are you willing to make the sacrifices so that, like, if you look at his family, you look at their families today, their families are, if they never have to work another day in their life. Not only that, neither will his grandkids and his great-grandkids. They'll never have to work another day in their life. But not only that, doors of opportunity are wide open now for them as well, because of the name that they built. The doors of opportunity that they would have never had the chance, that in many cases, none of us have the chance of walking through, because of what was built on focus, discipline, desire. Not just talent, because we did a lot, but all of those things, because of that, they were able to achieve amazing things to change not only their lives, but the lives of their generations to come. Is that something you would like to be able to do? If that's something you would like to be able to do, I mean, how important is that for you? I know for me, it's that important. That's why I've had, like today, my family, I could say, the same. It's the same. Where there's doors of opportunity that are open to them today because of the focus, the discipline, the desire, along with the talent, that over the years, I know just longevity in business. Business is a, it's a kind of sport for a man or woman that the longer you're in it, the better you get. The longer you're in it, the better you get. And because business, it wants wisdom. Like it's a game of making high level decisions, like world-class decisions day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. If you're in business and you have a desire, if you're doing anything and you have a desire, but if you're in business and you have a desire to use the gift to truly become someone who will go down in the history books, and it doesn't have to be in the world-class history books, it might be the history books of just your family, of doing something that no one else in your family has ever done, to change the trajectory of the lives, the generations that come after you, the lives of the people that are in your family today, that come after you when you're gone, and many generations after you're gone. Then if you apply those three things, focus, same things that Lebron, that Mike, that gave Mike success, like tremendous success, and Bernard Hopkins, LeBron James, Mike Tyson, Bernard Hopkins, if you apply those things that allowed them to have the success, apply the things that I've taken, that Napoleon Hill says, in that burning desire, that I've used to allow me to go down in the history books in my family, then if you apply those things, you'll go down in the history books of your family, and maybe in the history books of the world, to be the one who's accomplished some things that someone else or many others said that were impossible for you. I believe that. I believe that with everything in my heart. And if you just believe, and you implement, I believe, I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure that your story 5 years from now is going to be so significantly different than what your story is today. So hopefully that was helpful. If it was, share it with someone. If it was a blessing, just share it with someone. Share it with 10 people that you feel it will make a difference in their lives. And then if you comment below, then what I'm also going to do is I'll send you something that will also help you to just take what I shared here and take it to a whole nother level. So with that said, God bless you, and you got this.